my very first landscape, 2007, is a guy at my church, Mark Walker, and I was cutting his grass, and he said, "Hey, I want my front yard landscaped." I was sitting at Mazzio's in Broadway in Edmond on Sunday night. We're having this conversation. That was the spot after church every Sunday night to go eat. He's like, "Let's landscape my front yard." And I had no idea what I was doing whatsoever. And so he's like, "How much do you think it'll cost?" And just kind of in like a almost arrogant I said, "You give me $500, I'll make it look I'll make it look amazing." I had no idea. And $500, I'm used to mowing $25 lawns, so I'm thinking $500. This is amazing. So I go to TLC, a local nursery, which is a really expensive nursery anyway, but I didn't know any better. And start just picking out stuff, not knowing anything about landscaping. Is it full shade, full sun? What kind of dirt does he have? All this stuff. And I just start picking out stuff I thought was pretty. And I get to the register, and it's like $1,500 worth of crap. I'm like, oh no, what have I done? And so I take it all back, all this pretty lush, bigger stuff, and I take it all back and start picking out just some crap. Because I'm like, okay, I'll buy $300 worth of plants. So anyway, my girlfriend, who's my wife girlfriend at the time, Kirsten, I'm like, "Babe, I way oversold this thing, and now it's going to not look great. So, I can't even afford to pay my guys to do this. I've got to go do it." I was kind of punishing myself, literally. So we went over there. We spent an entire day planning all this stuff, trying to make it look presentable. And at the end of the day, it ended up making like $2.81 an hour for the time we spent and how much extra money I had. So, and a week later, it all died. So, fortunately, TLC's got a warranty program, but I took it all back and got all new stuff again, and it all struggled. It never looked good, and he was never happy with it, and it was a huge learning curve. So, fast forward a year, and I had this client, Oakdale Farms neighborhood on a 1 acre lot, beautiful house, 5,000 square foot, but it needed they were redoing everything on the inside of the house. So he said, "Andy, can you landscape the front of my house?" I was like, "Yeah, sure." I was just, at that point, I'd say yes to everything. One of the best things I learned over time, you learn to say yes. To get to $1 million revenue company, you say yes to everything. To move past that, you learn how to say no. And that was definitely something valuable I learned because I stopped doing that. But yeah, so I told him yes. He's like, "What's a budget?" And again, I just kind of shot out of my backside and said $5,000. And at this point, I'm like, okay, $5,000, I'm gonna really do some damage with this. But I didn't realize how vast his front yard beds were. And so I happened to hear about a landscape architect that just did design work. So I hired her out. And I went and priced it out, and I asked some professionals what I should charge for this, and it came out to $28,000. I told the guy $5,000, and so went in there. I was embarrassed, tail between my legs, and I said, "Man, I know I told you $5,000. This is what we've got, but it's gonna be $28,000." And he loved the plans. He was like, "All right, let's do it." And I just about fell out of his kitchen chair, and so I went and learned about all this stuff that we were doing. I mean, it's a major undertaking. And in 10 days, we knocked out a $28,000 landscape. And, I made good money on that. And it was very eye-opening. And it was that point, from 2008 on, I started focusing more and more on design, build, new construction properties or rehabs like that one, remodel. And that became our specialty. 2012 is when I really hit the gas. I started hiring management to manage more crews. I still had maintenance at the time, but that's when I started really marketing, like 3D landscape design. And you mentioned technology. So at this point, marketing had changed and it was a lot more online, less mailbox. And so I was having to learn all that. It took me years to get that dialed in, but now we've got it pretty well dialed in to where, I can turn up the wick on the marketing if we need more calls or whatever.